So we're about a week away from the NFL draft, and what generally happens a week before the draft is schedule time. So every single NFL schedule is set, and most importantly, the Jaguar schedule is set. So in this video, we're going to go over the schedule for the Jaguars this upcoming season. Now, in this video, I'm not going to do any kind of a record prediction like a lot of people would want me to. I know that gets a lot of clicks and whatnot, but not really my style. It's so impossible to forecast any of these games, especially with how no team has drafted anybody in the 2019 draft. And also, it's not the 2019 Jaguars playing the 2018 Chiefs or Texans or whatever. They're completely new teams. So, and there's going to be a bunch of teams that were good last year that aren't going to be as good this year. There's going to be some teams that come up from the bottom and wind up being playoff teams. So, it's just really hard to forecast at all. So, I'm going to look at these games and just tell you about how I feel about them right now. So the NFL schedule, I love the way it's made. I think it's systematic. It's better than any other type of league when it comes to, I think, actually determining the bracket, just because each team is preset. You know who you're going to play at the season's end. And basically you play each team in your division twice. So that makes up 6 games. You play one whole division in the AFC and one whole division in the NFC. This year, the Jaguars will play the AFC West and also the NFC South. And another thing that they do is, hold on, my Siri's going off. They play 2 at-large teams. So these at-large teams are basically determined by your seeding in the previous year. So the Jaguars finished 4th place in the AFC South. So with that said, we get to play the 4th team in the AFC North and the AFC East. So that leads up to the Cincinnati Bengals and the New York Jets. So basically each team in the division plays all the same opponents except for 2. So that's kind of what makes up these schedules. So let's go ahead and go into it. I like to usually break up these schedules into quarters, kind of take a look at it there. So we'll do like that. So week 1, we have the Kansas City Chiefs, home and opener. This is going to be a big game, and the Chiefs are obviously going to be a very tough opponent because not only are they obviously coming off of a fantastic year in 2018 where Patrick Mahomes emerged as an MVP. They went to the AFC Championship game before they got patrioted, and they are a team that looks to be on the uprise. You know, they got Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, just players all over the place. So that's going to be a tough opponent, and the Chiefs start off every year really good. They always start out the year really hot. So that's going to be a tough opponent. Home opener. It's going to be hot. And that's that. So week 2, we play at Houston. So this is just another division game. Let's hope we play better against the Texans this year than last year. Last year we got swept by them. Let's hope it doesn't happen this year. Week 3, we play versus Tennessee on a Thursday night game. And it's cool that we get primetime and all, but what is the NFL's obsession with scheduling the Jaguars against Tennessee on Thursday nights? This is the 3rd primetime game in a row that we played the Titans. They're all on Thursday night. The one positive is that we don't have to play in the Star Trek gold versus light blue uniforms, but I'm tired of this matchup. There's other teams on the schedule we can play against. Hell, play us against the Colts. The Jaguars-Colts games always seem to be good, but we got to play against the Titans. We've obviously got swept by them, 0-4 against them. We always lose in just embarrassing fashion. It's bad, but yeah, that's gonna be our Thursday night game, so we're gonna have to stick with it. And week 4, we play at the Broncos, 4:25 kickoff. So this game is gonna be obviously in Denver. It's not gonna be super cold there, so we didn't catch them in December, November, January. We catch them right early in the season, 4:25 game. The Broncos, they're a team that I'm not sure if they really have any direction. They look to be in a whole rebuilding process, even though John Elway doesn't like to admit it. They have Joe Flacco starting at quarterback. They have some pieces left on their defense, but the roster overall I don't think is very good. So this is going to have to be a game that we take over. So when I look at this first quarter of the season, I already like it more than last year. Because you guys got to remember, Jaguars have 7 total home games because one game they ship out to London. So 7 total games at TIAA Bank Field. 3 out of 7 of those games last year happened to all be in September. And I know I don't have to tell you guys, to a lot of Jaguars fans, this because most of them live in the South. But if you were a fan that picked up the Jaguars that lived in the North, that's never really been down to Florida, let me tell you something about Florida in September. It is hot as hell. Last year, these games were scorching hot. All these games, when we played the Titans, when we played the Patriots, when we played the Jets, all those games were hot as hell. And even the Patriots game at 4:30, you would think they spared us by giving us a little bit later of a kickoff, but it happened to be right after a hurricane, so all the clouds, go toward a hurricane. There's no clouds in the sky, so that wound up being, like, I think the hottest game in Jaguars history. So we only have one true 1 o'clock September game against the Kansas City Chiefs, so that's good. The old people can go to the game. It's just a lot better. So yeah, at least we have that going for us. Now the next quarter of a season, we have a bunch of teams that aren't in the AFC South. We play at the Panthers versus the Saints, at the Bengals, and versus the Jets. So we play at the Panthers week 5. A lot of people wanted this to be the home opener game, or the opening game, because the Jaguars' first ever game of franchise history happened to be at the Panthers, and that was also the Panthers' first game in their franchise's history, but they put this one at week 5. We'll see what happens with the Panthers. I mean, they had a terrible year last year. Cam Newton was just getting banged around. They didn't have a season that they expected, but I could still see the Panthers being a playoff team, so that'll be a tough matchup. Week 6 versus the Saints. The Saints have got themselves out of the playoffs in 2 years in a row in just horrific fashion. First the Minneapolis Miracle, then in 2018 the no pass interference call that actually wound up leading to the NFL having some rule changes where now that call is reviewable. And that's obviously going to be a tough game. That's in Jacksonville, 1 p.m. game. I'm excited about that one. I'll definitely be going to that one. Week 7, we play at the Bengals. No other AFC South team will play the Bengals, like I said earlier. The Bengals also seem, much like the Broncos, they seem like a team with really no direction. You look around at the AFC North, the Browns look like they're up and coming, getting a lot of talent. The Steelers are always going to be good. I mean, they never really had a year where they were just flat out bad. Even though last year they missed out on the playoffs, they still seem like a good team. And the Ravens are coming off of a playoff berth. I don't know what the Bengals. They seem like they're stuck in idle at the quarterback position. They don't really have much raw talent on the team. They're coming off a lot of injuries last year, so we got to be able to beat the Bengals this year. And Week 8 versus the Jets. This will be a fun one. Me and Jets Central went to the Week 4 game last year when the Jaguars played the Jets, and this one is another home game, 1 o'clock game. I imagine we'd be going to that one. The Jets, they are a team that's been acquiring a lot of talent. Obviously, Darnold going to his second year. We're going to learn a lot about Darnold this year. I know a lot of people are already penciling him in as some kind of franchise quarterback, but I'd still like to see some more from him. They just got Le'Veon Bell, C.J. Mosley. They look like they're shoring up the defensive lot. They're probably going to get some offensive lineman help in this upcoming draft. And you never know with the Jets. They could be very good, but they could be the same old Jets and not be very good. So we'll see with the Jets. Hopefully we can win that one. Now we go into the third quarter of the season where 3 out of 4 of these games are against AFC South opponents. As you start off, Week 9 versus Houston, which is actually our London game. 9:30 game. I love the 9:30 games. I love being able to wake up first thing in the morning and watch these games when we're alone. We're all by ourselves, and after that you can go and watch the 1 o'clock games, the 4:30 games, and the primetime games. So and we play versus Houston, and a lot of people didn't like how we gave up an AFC South opponent over to London, but I say put an AFC South team game over there every year, just because I'm a guy that likes to go to most of the games I can. I hate when they ship out NFC opponents out there, like they've done it with the 49ers, the Cowboys just last year, the Eagles. I hate those games because you only see NFC teams once every 8 years. So when you take away those games, it'll be a 16-year gap between when the team comes there and the next time. So we play Houston. We see Houston play every year. As a fan, those are the games that I like to see shipped over there. I don't like the NFC games going over there. So, we play Houston. We usually play pretty good in London. Though we have some kind of home field advantage there just because we're so used to travel. So, yeah, we play Houston out there. Week 10 is going to be a bye week, coming at a pretty good time. The bye week, it's a tough opponent. They play everybody, no matter if you're NFL, NBA, MLB, college football. They even play Pop Warner teams. They always show up. They're undefeated. So we're going to play bye week 10. Week 11, we play at the Indianapolis Colts. It's kind of interesting with the Colts. It seems like we always play them late in the years. 2017, we didn't play the Colts until week 7. 2018, we didn't play the Colts until week 10. This year in 2019, we don't play them until week 11. I always like the Colts game. For whatever reason, it's a good matchup against us. As bad as the Jaguars were last year, we played tough with the Colts the first time we played them. We did wind up losing, but the second time, we wound up winning 6-0. We shut out the Colts, which is a really weird game, but we did it. And the Colts, we always seem to play good against them. So that's our Week 11 game at the Colts, 1 p.m. Week 12, we play at the Titans in Nissan Stadium, 4:05 kickoff. Just beat the Titans. Let's just do it. I can still feel Derrick Henry stiff-arming me after last year where Derrick Henry just ran all over us. Got 3 or 4 touchdowns, 200-plus yards. The first time I played the Titans last year, the offense didn't show up. Then the second time we played them, the offense or defense didn't show up. It was just bad. Gotta find a way to break that losing streak. Week 13, we play the Buccaneers at home. 1 p.m. game. This will be an interesting team to see. Jameis Winston is really in a make or break year. We'll see how well he does under Bruce Arians. Bruce Arians is a hell of a coach, so he might be able to coach his team up to be really good. But the Bucs have been stuck in mediocrity for a little while now. So we play the Bucs, Florida team, at home. Now the last quarter of the season, Week 14, we play the Chargers at home. 4:05 p.m. kickoff. And I was kind of looking at this and saying, with the AFC West, it doesn't seem like we ever really play the Broncos. Doesn't seem like we ever really play the Raiders. We rarely really ever play the Chiefs. But it seems like we play the Chargers every year. So I went back and looked at it. 2019 will be the 6th time the Jaguars play the Chargers in the last 7 years. 6 out of 7 years we've been matched up with the Chargers, which is crazy how that happens. And the Jaguars only won one of those games against the Chargers in 2017, where the game got put into overtime, and A.J. Boye with the interception wound up winning it. But yeah, it seems like we play the Chargers every year, always play them very, very tough. Gus Bradley comes back to TIAA Bank Field once again, so let's take down the Chargers in their new powder blue primary uniforms. Week 15, we play at the Raiders. It's good that we play the Raiders not in the first quarter of the season, because their first quarter of the season, they still have that baseball diamond out on the field. They play on, a field is on dirt. They're still, I don't know if they're officially going to be playing in the Oakland A's stadium this year, but because obviously the city of Oakland is suing the Raiders and stuff like that. I don't know what's going on with that whole deal, but it's a mess. It's a mess, and they can't go to Las Vegas soon enough. So at the Raiders, Week 15, the Raiders were a team that had a disastrous 2018 season. Injuries, just a lack of talent. Derek Carr just wasn't feeling it at quarterback. But they have a chance to make it right. They got 3 first-round picks, bunch of draft capital. So if they can hit on those positions, those draft picks, who knows what they could be. But Week 16 at the Falcons, 1:00 p.m. kickoff. For so much reasons, I wish this game was earlier in the season and not the weekend before Christmas, because I really want to go to this game. I really want to see what Mercedes-Benz Stadium is like up there. The stadium looks super impressive. We'll see if I can get off work that Monday, because everybody's going to try to get off Christmas week, and I just want that one Monday off. But we'll see. I'll definitely try to go to that game. Week 17 versus the Colts. So this game could be flexed if at least one of these teams is in playoff contention. And we'll see. Colts, Andrew Luck, going to be a tough one. But overall, the schedule is pretty tough. NFC South is a tough team. Any of these teams can be playoff bound. AFC West, obviously, you have the Chargers, who came off a 12-4 season as a wild card team. And then, the Chiefs, obviously, number one, the best team in a regular season last year. So it's going to be tough, and especially playing the AFC South, where, the AFC South, 4 of these teams have made the playoffs in the last 2 years. So you never know what you're going to expect out of that. But I'm excited for the season. Cool that these games came out. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think about the schedule and what games you guys are thinking about going to. So thank you guys all for watching the video. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel. And this is UCF Jaguar with JinJag.com, and I'm out.